Hey, this is Billy from RS Guitarworks. Today I'm going to show you how to wire up our Vintage Strat kit. We have a customer brought in a Strat. Here's the pick guard off it. As you can tell, it needs a little help. So we're going to take all that out. We're going to clean it up and put in the RS Vintage Strat kit. So check it out. Okay, we got our RS kit out here. We got the pots and the wire and the cap. We've got a schematic here that also comes with it. One thing you got to be sure of is that you put the tones in the tone position and the volume in the volume position. This is a super pot here and will not work as a tone control. So we want to make sure that we get that in the volume position. It's for the Strat kit. It's stamped RSG4. For the other kits, it's got its own designation, but if it's stamped with an RS on it, it's a super pot. Here's one of the tones. It's stamped with a CTS 250 in this case, so that's one of our tones for the Strat kit. So let's get this pick guard loaded up, and then we'll get to wiring it up. There we go. Okay, now one of the ways we want to orient the pots, we want to have the middle tone control kind of spun up a little bit so its outside leg meets up with the middle leg of the second tone control, just like that. And then the other volume obviously facing, and the volume facing in there like this. So what we'll do is we'll bend some of the other tabs back so that we can get a nice exposure for that other leg right there when we put the cap in it, and then we'll wire it up. So let's get these tight on the back, and so the pots won't move, and then we'll carry on. Okay, now we got our pots tightened down. First thing I always do is I ground the pots, because that's one of the first things that people miss. Is that, I wired it up just like the schematic showed, but I got this horrible buzz. Well, it's probably because it wasn't grounded. So what we're going to do is we're going to wire from the two tones and to the volume pot, and we're just going to solder it to the back so we can ground them out. So check it out. Okay, I'm going to run the grounds to the volume pots now. We're going to run one from this tone to the other tone, and then to the volume we're just going to solder it to the back of the pot. So I have my solder here. And, I'm just going to use the black wire that came with the kit. I've got a regular screwdriver to hold down the wire as I solder it so I won't burn my fingers. Here we go, the first ground. Good position. I'd like to put it right there on the end. And so we just heat it up for a few seconds. And then throw our solder into it. And then get a screwdriver, hold it down. There we go. I give a little bit of slack in it. We'll just cut the wire right about here, like that, and then you can take this and you can push back cloth exposing the wire, and what we'll do is we'll tin the end of the wire like that so it'll stick easier to the back of the pot. Now on the volume control, we'll bend the legs up a little bit, and then this outside leg right here, pull this back until it reaches the case of the pot. And what I like to do on this one is get a little bit of extra wire pushed out. We'll tin it real quick here with our solder. Now what I like to do is stick it up under the ground leg here on the volume pot, just like that. And then I will put some solder in the eyelet so it'll hold the wire there. Oops, wire moved on me. There you go. And then I'll solder it to the back of the wire to the back of the pot. There we go. Now we'll get a little bit of slack and then we'll cut it. Alright, so we got a ground on this tone and we got a ground on this volume. So we got two ground wires. We're going to attach both of them to this tone here. So we ground all three pots together. So we're just going to twist these wires together. Just like that. And what we'll do is we'll run some solder to that wire right here, just to make those wires join together. Just like that. And so we're going to aim for right here. Just a little extra wire, I don't like that long, so we're going to just shorten it up. And we're just going to put it right there, right on the edge of that pot. We'll get our solder. We'll hold the wire down, let it heat up, and run our solder into it. Get the screwdriver, hold it down, and it's done. So now we've grounded the pots. That's a good thing. Alright, now we'll run, got our white wire here. That's our, what we call a positive, and we'll run it from the volume, the input of the volume, to our output of the switch, and that's the last tab right here. We're going to run it from there to the volume, just like the schematic says, and that gets our signal from the pickups to the volume control. So get some solder on this wire. We'll also put some solder in the eyelet on the volume control. And we'll put some solder on the eyelet on the switch that we're going to use. So what I like to do is put it in the volume control first. So we'll put it in there, just lay your iron to the leg, and push the wire in, and just let it sit for a second. And then we'll curl it around so it goes right to the switch like that. Push our wire back, and let's tin the end of that. And we will put it in the switch right here. Just like that. Now another common mistake people make when they're doing the RS Strat kit, they'll forget to put the jumper wire from this part of the switch to this leg over here joining the two sides. So that's one that I do real early so I don't forget it. So what we'll do is we'll got our positive wire here and tin the end of our wire. We'll go into this eyelet here and we'll just solder the same wire just right in there along with the other one. It'll be fine. It'll stay. So there we go, just like that. I'm going to clip off the extra wire here. Okay, now I like to pull some of this, pull some of that wire back, some of the cloth back just to make it a little neater job, and I'm going to trim it right towards the edge of this last eyelet. And once I cut it, I'll push that cloth back again, leaving the wire exposed right there. I don't know if you can see it very well. And so what we'll do is we'll tin that, and we'll put it into the switch as well. So we'll tin the wire, and now the last lug on the other side, which is right here, we'll lay some solder in there. And now we'll bend the wire. Bend the wire so it goes down in the switch nicely. There we go. So now we should have a wire running from the volume control to the switch, and then a jumper wire that connects the two sides of the switch. So right now we'll run a couple of wires to our tone controls. So we've got our white wire again. And we'll tin the end. Okay. This lug right here is the wire we're going to attach to, and that is going to go for this. It'll control this tone control, or that wire will go to this tone control. That is the bridge tone controls tab on the switch. This would be the middle volumes right here, and then the last one on the side would be the neck tones. You can connect them any way you want, but we suggest you connect the bridge and the neck, leaving the middle unconnected, middle pickup unconnected from the tone controls, but you can experiment and see if you like a certain sound or not. So I'm going to just wire it up so it's just the bridge and the neck. So I got our wire here. I'm going to put some solder in the eyelets for the bridge and for the neck. I'll get our wire here, and I've made like a little bend in it, and we'll just push her into the eyelet, let that solder cool off, and we're going to go to this lug right here, the outer lug of the tone control. This one right there. So I'll just measure it kind of the distance, and then we'll clip it. Push the wire back, and we'll tin the wire, and we'll lay some solder to the tone controls eyelet, and we'll just heat the joint and push that right in. Let it cool, and we're all done. Now we'll move on to the other tone control again. Tin the wire. Make a small bend in it, and we'll go into the switch like that. Let solder cool off, and then we're going to go to this tone control here.